All right, Free Radicals, welcome back. My name is Dave, and I am the Radical Independent, and you might be too if you're watching. I'll be honest with you, folks. The last 2 or 3 days, between all of the manipulation that has gone on already, this is why people they quit. They quit politics. They just try to live their lives. They try to work in their own communities. They try to do things to help people in their own town. They go to town hall meetings. They go to the school board. They do things like that. My town isn't even incorporated, and there'll be meetings coming up to find out whether or not the town wants to be incorporated so we can actually have a police department, and rather than using the county resources. And again, people aren't going to like it because their taxes are probably going to go up some, but if you want somebody to get to your house within a few minutes, in case there's an emergency, those are the things people are going to start to care about. Because this polling data today kind of makes me want to throw up. This poll here, if you're a Tulsi Gabbard fan, you can't sit here and say to yourself, well, it's rigged, it's manipulated. First of all, Boston Herald, Franklin Pierce University poll, NBC 10 Boston. Okay. First of all, obviously this is frustrating. Good to see Deval Patrick at 0, but Tulsi Gabbard's at 0. Okay, I know. There are going to be people, my buddy Alan and other people on Twitter, that are going to give me a pep talk, and everyone's going to say, hey, she's going to win, she's going to come in second. I don't think so. I don't think so. Her performance in Iowa, which was negligible, should have been something. And I know Iowa was completely rigged from top to bottom, and they made it so they made sure that she got nothing coming out of Iowa. All right? As bad as it was for Bernie, they said, we're just going to put an end to Tulsi here. And then by the time, New Hampshire rolls around, people aren't going to be too happy about it. Bernie looks like he's holding on to a lead in this poll. But literally, that's what's happening. He should be up by 10, 15 points, I think. Seriously. He's up by 3. The problem with this, too, is you've got candidates now who are running interference for this guy, Mayor Pete. And by the way, there's a war heating up between Biden and Mayor Pete. And Warren now, who's been kind of out of the fray a little bit, she may end up picking up some support again as people kind of circle around and go, okay, maybe she's not as bad as Mayor Pete. She's definitely better than Biden. And that's what this poll kind of indicates, this log jam of neolibs. Now, some of you who think Warren is a progressive, no. She's a wedge issue candidate who is not going to gain one vote from outside of the little sphere of the resistance movement, because that's really where she's getting her support from. The please let's get Trump out of office people. Sanders is getting support from people who have problems in their life, who need relief. Mayor Pete is getting a ton of support from the donor class and for people who think he's now like Obama 2.0, because that's what we're starting to hear. Here comes the white Obama 2.0. And he's gay, so that would be great. We'd break the glass ceiling and we'd have the first gay president. Again, we didn't need the first black president if the first black president wasn't going to help people. We didn't need the first woman president if the first woman president wasn't going to help people. And we certainly don't need the first gay president if that president is not going to help people. Pretty simple. As Andrew Yang says, it's math. And I don't like the math there. I don't like the fact that people are, adding these attributes up and coming to the conclusion that, yeah, he's gay, and he's this and he's that, and he's young, and he's basically a moldable thing of clay that the establishment can say, do this, and he goes ahead and does that. All right, so that's one poll. Now, I was waiting to see some other polls. Maybe I would be more encouraged. And there's one poll that gives me just a tiny modicum of hope. By the way, you think Donald Trump isn't going into this political season as strong as a president has gone into it? I think I think people are gonna underestimate how strong Donald Trump is after you put him through the ringer, literally. All right, literally put him through the ringer, and whether you like him or not, his base 91% to 5. Bill Weld has 5. Joe Walsh has 0. Good job, Joe. Should have just kept the talk show going. I don't know if he still got the talk show, but talk show is a complete waste of time. But anyway, so here's another poll: YouGov and CBS. Keep in mind, folks, this is through yesterday. They're not going to do any more polls, I don't think. It's what, today, tomorrow, and then New Hampshire primary. And there it is, right? Bernie, again, seems to be holding off Mayor Pete, but Mayor Pete with 25%. These are unheard of numbers for Pete, who got the bounce because the Iowa caucus was rigged, and that has changed the political dynamic, the trajectory. The entire election has now been changed. And anyone sitting here telling you that this is all naturally organic grassroots stuff has got their head up their butt. And they're doing really horrible, wishful thinking. Warren at 17. Biden is collapsing. Biden is, I think, done, but he's got the name ID to continue on to see if he can win a few states where people haven't heard of Mayor Pete. But I don't know how you haven't heard of Mayor Pete. Even the local newscast is now talking about him. There's a good chance, too, that down the road, one of these guys like Steyer or Bloomberg will figure this out and say, okay, here's the guy, here's the vehicle, I'd love to help you out. Imagine Mayor Pete, in addition to getting all of the media help that's already out there, that he's able to advertise and run platitudes on TV. You know what, folks? Here's the thing. Barack Obama ran on platitudes. Hope and change, remember? And he won. Because people fall for that. It's almost like religion to people when they hear a preacher get up there and say nice things, say the things that they want to hear. And, you got Oprah Winfrey, here's the one. So Mayor Pete is now being compared to he's being called the white Obama, the gay Obama, whatever, you want to throw on there. And that's another thing, too, because all the bean counters, all the people that care more about identity than the actual politics of someone, they're going to love Mayor Pete. Here's this guy who was, in the military, and not only was he in the military, but, he did all of this high-level planning, and he's a deep thinker, he's a technocrat, he's part of the meritocracy. This is right out of Listen Liberal, Thomas Frank's book. Meanwhile, the working class are going to take it again on the chin. By the way, if it's Mayor Pete against Trump, there are going to be a whole lot of people that say, you know what? Either I'm not voting, or I'm going to vote for Trump. And here's why. They're going to vote for Trump because Trump is less interventionist. The economy, in general, isn't that bad right now. Yes, again, a lot of this trickle-down economics doesn't get to the floor. A lot of it stays with the rich, and there's incredible amounts of income inequality, and some people work in 2 or 3 jobs. But by the way, we had that with Obama, and in addition to that, we had lousy economic growth numbers. So people are going to look at the growth, they're going to look at the stock market, and they're going to say, even though none of this really helps me, on paper, he's right. And not only that, this guy from South Bend, Indiana, who is a complete unknown and has no name ID, when it comes to the political, I guess just the numbers and the identity and also just knowing who this person is, people are going to say Trump or Buttigieg. They can't even pronounce the guy's name. And I know that sounds dumb and simplified, but if you can't pronounce a guy's name, Same thing with Klobuchar. That's just a weird name. Klobuchar, like Jimmy Dore, Buddha gig. I mean, you can pronounce Steyer, you can pronounce Yang and Gabbard fairly easily, Sanders. And people say, well, what about Obama? Well, Obama was an easy name to say. If you say Barack Hussein Obama and people say, oh, no, it's a Muslim name. You had some of that, but it was still a fairly easy name to say. And Obama became a brand. He had the whole Coca-Cola logo thing going there, whatever it was, Pepsi. The Pepsi logo looked like the Obama logo. It's brand marketing. And this is what politics is now. It has nothing to do with you or I. It's just a brand. It's just a show. We're watching a reality show unfold. So this is an interesting poll. Who do you think will win? Regardless of, who you think the nominee should be. A lot of people think Bernie's going to win, which is a good sign for Bernie. Only 1% thinks Tulsi Gabbard is going to win. By the way, this poll had Tulsi Gabbard at 5%. This was a better poll for progressives in general. Bernie had a 7-point lead over Mayor Pete, and Gabbard at 5%. Folks, I mean, that's the best poll for Tulsi Gabbard. There are other polls out there. This is the Suffolk University poll, which, by the way, Gabbard was in this poll, I think 2 months ago, and it would have been a qualifying poll for a debate if the Democrats counted it. Now, Tulsi Gabbard is in this poll, and she's at 2%. And this one almost has Sanders and Buttigieg tied, 24-22. You're not going to hear a lot of progressives out there talking about these polls. That's what's different about this channel. I am rooting for a team or a player or two players here, but when the team and the players are in trouble, and Bernie's getting to be in trouble now, you're thinking, oh, he's technically in the lead. Yeah, say Mayor Pete keeps his support at 22. Warren keeps her support at 13, Biden at 10, Klobuchar. This cluster of candidates here, if you combine those numbers, 19 and 13 and 22, that's an insurmountable amount, even if, say, Gabbard and Yang were to give Bernie all of their support. You're at 29. You combine Mayor Pete and Warren. Warren has got plenty of cover because she can say, well, Bernie's a liar. Bernie lied to me. Of course I'll support Mayor Pete. He's got to do a couple of things that I think he should do. But yeah, there's 35%. Biden, who's going to just fold up like a cheap tent, that's 10%. And by the way, all of this is evaporating going over to Mayor Pete. A few points are probably going to Klobuchar, and maybe 1 or 2 are going to Warren. But all of this support from Biden is going. Everyone said that the second choice for Biden supporters would be Sanders. Nope, I don't think so. They're too. Look, there may be in a few cases that's the way it looked like, but the Biden people are leaving to go over to. These are the people that just want to beat Donald Trump. They don't care about policy, so they're leaving Biden to go over to Mayor Pete. That's what they're doing. So, again, though, if you just combine Warren and Buttigieg, that's 35 points. Sanders, Gabbard, and Yang, that would be 29. Okay? You add Biden to that load over here, and you're up to 39. Klobuchar, 47. You're almost over 50%. I don't know how we overcome this, folks. I'm not the channel that is hopelessly optimistic. I'm trying to think of the words that should pop into my head. Yeah, and here's another poll, Tulsi Gabbard at 2%. So, again, that's the Suffolk University, and that was a good poll for Tulsi. Emerson poll, I'm not sure how this one looks. Yep, here it is. So this one has Tulsi at 3. Sanders has a big lead, 30-20, which is good. But again, start doing math on all of these neoliberals in this pack here. Mayor Pete, Klobuchar at 3rd. For Amy Klobuchar, she's probably jumping up and down about this one. 33, 45, 56. 56 to 37 if you combine the progressives. I'm not counting Steyer. Although, again, Tom Steyer would throw his support to the neoliberal. There's an outside chance that there might be an alliance between Steyer and Sanders. I can't see it, but, the fact that he went over to say hello, and he keeps talking climate change, but he doesn't talk about the bread and butter issues, the kitchen table issues. I mean, yes, if you understand climate change, you understand that might be a kitchen table issue for a lot of people. But for a lot of other people, they want to know how they're going to get out from under enormous student loan debt and so forth. So these polls are kind of disastrous. They are, and you're going to say, well, at least Bernie's winning for now. For now. If Buttigieg finishes a super strong second after not knowing who wins, basically a virtual tie in Iowa, and some people say Mayor Pete got more and they're going to recanvass. How do you think that recanvass is going to turn out? It's going to turn better probably for Mayor Pete. You're never going to get to the truth. And then once that momentum is established, Sanders can file all the lawsuits he wants to. This is a corrupt party. This is a corrupt organization. And there is no way to have a revolution in a counter-revolutionary party. There's just no way. If they don't like what's happening, they're going to fix it. And right now, they are fixing it. Think of that word, fixing. The fix is in. All right, folks, there you have it. Just, if you're a praying person, I don't know, pray. Pray for a miracle. Pray that, the New Hampshire, all the voting machines go down again in New Hampshire. Although that's going to help Mayor Pete again. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to pray for. I mean, if these polls are very consistent across the board, it shows Sanders now trying to fend off Mayor Pete as he comes on super strong and Tulsi as a non-factor. And this is very discouraging from somebody who has been in Tulsi Gabbard's corner now for about a year. But I'm just telling it like it is. I would urge everybody, if you're watching, you're in New Hampshire, do the right thing. Go out and vote for Tulsi Gabbard. Go through the process. Shock the establishment if you can. And then we'll go from there. But this just doesn't look good, people. All right. I will see you all soon. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to at least subscribe to the channel. I'm going to need your help in the days to come to keep this channel vibrant and at least some revenue coming in. You can also contribute to this channel by going to davidjspuria@gmx.com, and you can do one-time donations via PayPal. You can also follow me on Twitter, because that's where I am. I don't know, let's click on the logo here and see what will happen. Yeah, there's my channel right there, The Radical Independent. That is me. It says I'm an optimist here. I am desiring a political movement outside of the two-party mess. Yes, I have 2 YouTube channels and 1 Rockfin channel. Anyway, you can follow me here, and you can use my email address to do donations to PayPal. All right, thanks for watching. See you soon.